everyone. Thanks again for joining me. My name is Ann Crawford, and I'm the Reference and Adult Services Librarian at the Ponte Vedra Beach Branch Library. And today I am presenting Adulting 101. And I first and foremost want to say congratulations to all of our graduates, those graduating from high school, those graduating from college or graduate school, whatever the case may be. You should be really, really, really proud of your accomplishments. And I know there's a lot of people in the community who are proud of you as well. So congratulations on that big, big step. I thought Adulting 101 being presented this week was very timely because that's what you're about to do. Whether you're about to go off to college for the first time, or you're going to a commuter college, or you're jumping right into the workforce, or you've just spent 4 years in college and are jumping into the workforce, whatever combination therein that you might be doing. There's all sorts of little things that are going to help you be that much more successful as an adult. And so that's what today's presentation is all about. So let's dive in with some great books and resources we have available to you at the library using your St. Johns County Library card, or if you want to get a free e-card with us as a St. Johns County resident, you can go to SJCPLS.org and get a 60-day e-card and access all of these databases and books for free as well. So let's go ahead and dive on in. So in Libby, our database for ebooks and e-audiobooks, I picked a few titles that reminded me of adulting back in the day when I graduated from high school, when I graduated from college, when I walked the stage for graduate school. And really, adulting is very much a verb. It's not something that you reach a plateau and there you figured everything out. I'm a bit older than our current graduates, and I'm still learning all things adulting. So it's an ongoing process throughout your adult life. So let's jump into some titles that I think might be really helpful to you finding your way as an adult. So start with a pretty obvious one, Adulting, How to Become a Grown-Up in 535 Easiest Steps. So there's a lot of different things you can do to help yourself become an adult. And right now, one of the things I recommend in addition to reading this book is to look at the people that you live with right now. If you're living at home because you're in high school and you're going off to college, consider asking your mom or dad or whomever you live with that's older than you, what is something you wish you had known before you went out into the great wide world or before you went out to college? Chances are they're going to have some really interesting answers for you. So not only are you going to get to hear some fun stories from them that maybe you've never heard before, but you might learn some things that are really valuable and relevant to what you need. It could be changing a tire on your car. It could be learning how to wash your clothes without colors bleeding onto white. It could be how to sustain yourself with meals that aren't ramen noodles. All sorts of things that people who love you and care about you right here in your own home can assist you with. And that's true for college students too, because you come home at breaks and stuff like that, for winter break and for spring break, summer break. Ask those people in your life about the things that you can learn that'll best help you get the strongest start when you're out there on your own, or maybe if you go to college somewhere in another state like I did. I grew up in Georgia, but I went to Stetson University for my undergraduate degree. I was 8 hours away from home. These are things that'll be helping you to navigate all things adulting. So this is a great little title because it's giving you all these little tips and tricks, little small steps along the way of things that you can do, and then you can feel more accomplished as an adult, more ready for the big wide world out there. So the next title, even though it says for dummies, it's kind of like the complete guide for idiots. If you can get over the dummies and the idiots for a moment, these guides are really wonderful because they break it down into simple, easy, digestible steps that can really help you be successful. And this one I picked is Job Interviews for Dummies. And job interviews are oftentimes something that you can get tripped up on if you've never really done a lot of job interviews in your life. You have no idea what to expect, and there's little things that make a huge difference, like, for example, being on time to your job interview, how you dress for a job interview, the kinds of questions that you can expect, if you should be doing any research about the company so that you can ask intelligent questions about the company at the very end of the interview. All of that is laid out in this title. And this title is great too for anybody who's been in the workforce, but maybe for other different reasons has been out of the workforce for a little while and is looking to re-enter. It's always good to brush up on your steps. And after I go through all these books, I'm going to touch a little bit on the different databases that you can use that my colleague, Amy Ackerman, has been doing info nugget sessions on and has described in such great detail that I wouldn't dare try to compete. But I will say I'll touch on those, and then I'll encourage you to go and watch your videos to get more in-depth description of how they can help you. So again, job interviews for dummies. This is just a really good primer for if your resume gets accepted and you get called back for that interview, you want to seal the deal. You want to make the people that are interviewing you think, I can't possibly hire anyone else but this person sitting right in front of me. So this is a really good guide for just getting the nitty-gritty right down to the brass tacks of exactly what you need to do in order to succeed in your job interview. So like I said, ignore the Dummies title, ignore when you see the Complete Idiot's Guide to fill in the blank. It just means that it's giving it to you in a way that's really easy to remember, really easy to digest, and that will help you be successful. So the next one seems all too relevant right now. Work from home, the ultimate guide to online jobs and how to make money from home. There are any number of reasons why you may need to work from home or want to work from home, in which case this guide is very helpful to you to find the kinds of jobs that you can do remotely. A lot of us are learning a lot of new technologies right now during this time in order to communicate with our workplaces. So I suspect that there'll be people working more remotely in the future because we found that that is successful. It's saved us on our commutes, it's saved time, it saves money. So this could be something that you might want to explore. And again, if you're an older adult that's either been out of the workforce or for whatever reason you need to be home with your kids or anything like that, working from home might be a really good option for you. So it's always good to explore what the different possibilities are out there, because they're not the same as they were 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, even 1 year ago. So work from home. So if that's something that's of interest to you, it never hurts to read a little more about it. All right, well, speaking of ramen noodles and how you don't have to live on those in order to survive in college, this is 50 best healthy college recipes. You've probably heard of the term the freshman 15, and the freshman 15 means you go off to college and you gain 15 pounds because there's access to so much junk food. And if you're living off campus and maybe you don't know how to fend for yourself in terms of making meals and making healthy meals, and you're ordering pizza, I mean, we've all backslid into this at one time or another. So this is a great way to get some healthy college recipes that you need to feed yourself and you want to do so in a healthy way. Then this is a way you can do it. I also recommend, again, talking to the people in your house. If there's a particular recipe that you grew up with, that you loved, that your mom or dad or grandparent made for you, have them write it down on an index card. If it's not something that's too crazy or convoluted, then you have an opportunity to make that yourself. A lot of students do live off campus, so knowing some healthy recipes, things that you can make that can also save you some money as well, are always a good thing, so you're not stuck with the same staples all of the time. So again, this is just a great way to get some healthy recipes, and I love that they put some form, almost looks like nachos on here, so I'd be interested to know myself how exactly they made nachos healthy. So I may have to check out this book and find that out for myself. So again, always good to know some things that you can eat and enjoy. Master your debt. How many of you out there who, like me, are still in the process of adulting are trying to get rid of student loans and student debt? So that is a big thing that is on the mind of a lot of graduates from college. What am I going to do with all this debt I'm carrying? So this is going to tell you about how you can slash your monthly payments. You can become debt-free. I haven't read the book cover from cover, but it should include a chapter in there about making sure you're not falling for credit card scams when you're in college. You get a lot of applications for credit cards. And it sounds like a really easy fix. You just get this new credit card and just wipe out all that debt, and in turn create more debt. So this is a great book to read before you get to college, so maybe you can help manage some of that debt, or if you're listening to this presentation and you're graduating from college, what you can do step by step in your 20s to go ahead and knock that debt out so that you can start living debt-free. So you can start really saving up money for the things that you want rather than just paying off debt. So unfortunately, that is a part of adulting, being financially responsible. So titles like this can help you do just that. And again, it never hurts to talk to relatives who have been there, and they can give you some tips and tricks not to end up in the hole in the first place, or if you have to take out those student loans and things like that, how you can best manage them after you get out of college. Really important. All right, so with relation to living debt-free, here's probably the title you should read before it, which is 10,001 Ways to Live Large on a Small Budget. So this is actually like a precursor to the title I just showed you, meaning that if you read this, you might find some ways to enjoy your life on a small budget so that you don't end up with a bunch of debt. And that's really important for college students, and especially people starting out from, if they're getting a first-time job to live on their own after high school or after college. It's going to be really important you're probably going to be living on a small budget. So how can you live on a small budget and still feel like you're really living a life? And that's what a title like this helps you do, and it gives you all sorts of different things that you can do to still have a really awesome and amazing life and not be blowing the bank to do it. So another really good title to look out for. Now, this one takes a different stance. You may be familiar with the story, you may not be. This is What Made Maddie Run, and I thought about including it in the presentation that I did on self-care tips and resources, but I decided to save it for this presentation. Unfortunately, it's about an athlete, a young athlete, who committed suicide in college, and about her family, and about her friends, and about the sports writer who wrote about her story. And what it uncovered is that oftentimes mental illness can really rear its ugly head in your late teens, early 20s, which unfortunately coincides with when many of those people that age are in college. So reading this story was really eye-opening to me, because mental illness is still not something that we talk openly about, even though we really should. And sometimes, you get homesick, or college wasn't quite what you expected, or you have those bumps in the road that can happen your freshman year. Those sorts of things are normal. But you can also start struggling with something bigger than you. And this is a really good book about talking about those warning signs, not just for the parents of the teens going off to college, but for the teens and 20-somethings themselves, to recognize that in yourself if you're getting to a point where life is starting to overwhelm you in a more pervasive way. Something that this book mentioned that really resonated with me was with regard to social media, that idea that you have to create this perfect image of yourself, that instead of being truthful about how you're really feeling, you're projecting out an image of what you think other people want to see, or that you want other people to see, or that you think your parents or your friends or family members are going to more readily accept. And it's not necessarily at all true to how you're feeling. That was certainly the case with Maddie. She was creating a whole persona for herself on Instagram that was a severe departure from how she was really feeling in her freshman year of college. So it was a really powerful story that created the Madison Holleran Foundation. And I'm just lingering on this particular topic with regards to adulting, because adulting can be hard. And those are big transitions from when you leave college to live on your own, to getting your first job, or getting your first job out of high school, or going off to college and being away from all your family and friends. It puts me in mind also for kids who are, I should say, adults, right? Adults who move away from home or stay at home and commute. It's a big culture shock from what you may have known in high school. And college, moving into your 20s and living out on your own, is another big culture shock. So I think it's really a worthwhile title to read. And I think it's very important for parents and teens to have these really honest conversations about, being truthful about how you're really feeling about all these changes. We kind of make it cute by saying adulting 101, and it is. All of us adults are adulting. But at the same time, be candid about how you're really feeling about things. That's so important, so that if you need additional support or help, then you can make sure to get it. And then to come full circle, we've got almost adulting, all you need to know to get it together, sort of. Again, adulting is a verb. It's not a noun, it's not a destination. It's not like, okay, I've arrived, I'm done, I have nothing left to learn in the world. Absolutely not. It's a process. It's a evolution, if you will. And so books like this are really great because they're just kind of giving you some helpful hands up to let you know, here's some things you can do to give yourself a little bit of a smoother ride. It's not going to be completely smooth. Learning how to be an adult, some of that is just time and experience. But some of it can be helped by tapping into the right resources and finding ways to make living on your own or going off to college for the first time a little bit easier. And I think anybody who really cares about teens and 20-somethings, which we certainly do at the library, and certainly your family and friends, we're all rooting for you. All of you graduates out there, you're gonna knock the socks off this world. You can do this. You've got this. But like I said, don't think that someone in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, or beyond has it all figured out, because we don't. And that's okay. You don't have to have it all figured out right away. But these are some helpful things that can move you forward and give you a sense of success. Now, these were just a few samples of books in Libby that you can check out and read and absorb, and it's not nearly encompassing everything that we have in there. And of course, you've got your parents and your grandparents who you can tap into to learn all sorts of different things, get some practice over the summer if you're about to go to college in the fall, so that it's not a completely new experience. Get some tips and tricks from some people who've been there. Some databases that you're going to want to check out that, like I said, my colleague and friend Amy Ackerman has done such a wonderful job in her Info Nugget sessions on Fridays. Going further in depth would be, for example, BrainFuse. BrainFuse is an incredible database. There's two separate entities of BrainFuse. There's BrainFuse Help Now, which is all about homework help, online tutoring, you name it. And although we do push BrainFuse Help Now for elementary, middle, and high school students, it could also be used by college students, because like I said, those online tutors are absolutely incredible. And since it's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you can tap into that anytime that you want to. So we certainly encourage you to do that if you're a college student and you need a little bit of extra support. BrainFuse Job Now is wonderful because it helps you set up a resume and a cover letter. It lets you do live interviewing, so you can practice in live time how best to do your interview. You can upload your resume and submit it to a resume lab, and they'll tweak it for you and give you all sorts of feedback and edits that you can do to tweak your resume. They have online assistance for your resume that's, again, in live time. So, you don't have to try and do it all yourself. Why try and do it all yourself? You can put together these things and then submit them to BrainFuse Job Now and get really polished and ready to go so that you have the best chance of success. We have two other career databases in our list of databases on our website, and one of which allows you the opportunity to kind of explore careers. It's called Career Transitions, and it's good for two things. It's good for the person who's not really sure what sort of career they want to pursue, or even the high school student who's not sure what they want to major in. Career Transitions is a wonderful database for that. Or someone who's not quite sure, what sort of job that they're looking for. It's also good for someone who maybe was in one field for 10 or 15 years and now is a job changer, wants to change to a different field. So you can find out a little bit more about that. So Career Transitions is great for generating some information about all sorts of different kinds of careers, what the trajectories are, what sort of skill sets you need, what sort of education you need. and how best to make that transition if you are switching from one field to another. We have a Gale database for careers, which is great because it has all sorts of articles. So one of the things at an interview, especially if you're changing careers or if it's the first time in that field, it's always good to have read up a little bit about what's the current literature on that field, what are the trends, what are the concerns and issues now, and what's the future of that particular profession. That also gives you an idea of whether or not that's a profession to pursue. So that's another wonderful database for just getting more information. So I really recommend all three. So the Gale database for careers and career transitions, and BrainFuse Job Now, and of course if you're a college student or high school student, BrainFuse Help Now. And check out more about those databases with my colleague and friend Amy Ackerman with her Info Nugget sessions. Again, thank you for joining me for Adulting 101. Congratulations to all of our graduates. Even if you're not getting to celebrate quite the way you wanted to, that doesn't mean that we're not all cheering for you and super proud. And we hope you'll consider using your St. Johns County Library card or free e-card to tap into these resources and get whatever assistance you need to successfully do adulting. Have a wonderful day, take care, be safe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.